So the question was asked, um, what do we mean by manipulated stock or a manipulated chart? And this is the best example that I know of in recent history because, well, it was in 2015, 2014 to 15. I was trading this stock. I was shorting it because I knew it was a scam, and I was I got stopped out a few times. Again, I was shorting the front side of the move, but as you can see, you wouldn't have any chance to short the back side of the move on this case. In this case, it was an OTC stock, and it might have been Nasdaq. No, it was probably in the Nasdaq. Anyways, the guys that were involved with this in here at this price, they went to jail. A bunch of brokers got fined huge amounts of money. Just a big stock manipulation play. They were kiting stock. It's very difficult to see it on this chart, but if you could, let me see it. It's just too hard. Let's see if I can somehow. What you see is that if you could look at the stock, you'll see that I'll just go if you can see the trades for it. 630 low 632, high 634, 630, 635, 634, 635, 33, 35, 34, 35, and it just moves up by pennies. 35, 37, 35, 38, 37, 39, 38, 40. So they just moved it up two pennies a day, and here they were accumulating it, and then they pop it, and they would trade it amongst themselves. They get a bit of volume going. Let's see. I mean, it only traded 17,000. Here, 74,000. And then, just kept going. And then pretty soon, they started to get a bit of a squeeze on it. There was a big short position and it developed 649, 667. And then they just stair-stepped it up, what we call stair-stepping it up. Every day just would up. And you'd never get a down day. The stock never traded down. If it did, here was 752, 748. You get a down day and it's 747 and 750. But pretty soon the music has to stop. I mean, the stock came from pennies and traded to 782, and then the SEC. Oh no, the scam started to become known. Stock sold off over 3 days. It got halted for a month or two, and then came back on at pennies, less than pennies. So this is what I call a manipulated chart. It moves up a few pennies a day. This is an OTC. This is classic OTC pump and dump. It's tightly held, and they trade amongst themselves. It moves up a penny or two a day, and then it starts to go. So what's that got to do with JKS? Now, I have no proof or anything that this is a manipulated stock, but just from experience, because the force field energy was not the first one I'd ever seen like that in my day. That's why I was shorting it, because the OTCs in those days, you could see them, easy to see which stocks are being manipulated, and you just short them because eventually at the end of the day, they're going to go back to zero. JKS is a bit different. Now, this is a Chinese stock. The regulations may not be quite as strict. It's a foreign issuer, so it may not have the same compliance issues that a U.S. company would. Let me rephrase that. If they're trading in the United States, they have to meet certain criteria, but the accounting side of it may be somewhat suspect if it's trading in China or somewhere other than a country like a European country or US or Canada. It could be fraught with it could be fraught with danger, perhaps some manipulation. But in of itself, this is just a nice rising channel. This is exactly the kind of trade we're looking for, except that it goes from 17 to 90 in a month, straight up, every day, no down days. That is, and then stair step it up, pop sideways, pop. So there's a couple of down days, and then gets up, boom, and then the markets, come off or it gets too high, and I think they may have even announced a financing up here, and now it's backed off. So, and this is again what we talked about: the front side of the move and the back side of the move. This is what I would call a manipulated chart, a manipulated stock. This is just not natural to go from 17 to 90 in a month, straight up with 2 red days only. Let's have a look at the daily charts on them. I don't know if I can get it. Let's go back a bit. No. Oh, that's a 2-minute. I want that. I'm just trying to, so we can get a better look at what happened during the day. This is an hourly chart. They popped it, and it would trade, just step its way up, open lower at the beginning of the day, and just step its way. You can see that just every hour it just steps its way up, step. Never any real big sell-off. A couple of in here, but in general, very tight range, always trending up, and no real setback to it. That's typical of a chart of a company, the stock price that's being manipulated. Whichever way it may be. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there just was big institutions that wanted to buy it, or maybe big institutions sponsoring it. Maybe they had some very good stock promoters that just would buy it with big books, and then they get into the distribution side of it at the top. So that's what I mean by a manipulated chart or a manipulated stock.